A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and I appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask him in my name. I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another." Have you ever had a better friend? Have you ever thought about Jesus as your friend? Do you recall when you were young, perhaps in elementary school, and they were choosing teams for, say, a dodgeball game, and they made 2 captains, and they said, "Okay, pick your teams." You're like, "I'll take Sally, I'll take Tom, I'll take so-and-so, I'll take so-and-so," and it goes on and on and on, and as you're standing there, you might have been one of those last names to be called. And we may have experienced at one time or another a great sense of disappointment when we didn't get chosen to be on the team that we wanted. For whatever reason, we felt that one team was better than the other. Can you imagine feeling so special to believe that to be on Jesus' team is the ultimate? And whether you were chosen first or last to be on the team was just as great an honor. It didn't matter in what order that you were chosen. It was just extraordinary to know that you were there. Jesus indicated that he chose us, that we didn't choose him, but he chose us. And that really ought to make every single human being special, because his friendship is for everybody. Doesn't matter how old we are, doesn't matter what country we live in, doesn't matter where we were born. It doesn't matter. He has chosen you. If someone chooses you to be a friend, well, not if someone, if Jesus has chosen you, how will you respond as a friend? If Jesus was sitting next to you on your commute into work, what would you do differently? How would you behave differently if he was sitting in your passenger seat? If Jesus was coming over to dinner, how would you have your family clean up their act? What would you instruct them to talk about and not talk about? Think about all the things that you would do different. And why? Why would you do them differently? We would need to analyze why we would be inclined to change. Why we'd be inclined to warn the eldest in the family, "You be sure that you don't curse, because Jesus is going to be here. And you be sure that you don't eat with your fingers and use a fork, because Jesus is going to be here." And you be sure that you clean up after your animals, because Jesus is going to be here. And you be sure you don't say anything negative to your brother or sister, because Jesus will be here. Jesus is here. Jesus is there where you are. Become aware of his presence and modify your life accordingly. At the end of this particular piece of scripture, he says, I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another. Every time you speak to someone, you have an opportunity to display love. Every time you dine with another individual, you have an opportunity to show your love. Every time you show a kindness, every time you have a thought, every time you include someone in prayer, every time you visit the lonely, every time you give to the poor and or the church, you're showing an expression of love to another individual. And do these things in the name of your friendship with Jesus. Jesus calls you to be his friend. He's waiting for you to accept. My name is Ceci Holling, and I'm inviting you to live like you believe.